Helluva, she's so fine. Helluva, blows my mind. Helluva, lights my day.
What's good, guys? Today's Tuesday, August the 11th, 2020. I wanted to do an update video in the Kenneka Jenkins civil lawsuit. For those that are not familiar, I've done several of these updates along the way. This case was filed on December the 11th, 2018 in the Law Division of the Cook County Circuit Court Clerk's Office. The case is styled Teresa Martin as Special Administratrix for Kenneka Jenkins deceased versus Capital Security, CPO Hospitality, LLC, doing business as Crown Plaza Chicago O'Hare, F&F Realty, Ltd., MBC Rosemont, LLC, doing business as Murray Brothers Caddyshack. Alright. Now, zoom out here. Try to make this as big as possible without losing the integrity of what I'm trying to show. Okay. So, there was an order of court continuance due to COVID-19 closure. And that was on 7/16/2020 at 9:30 a.m. Alright. Of course, the courts were still down due to COVID-19. So now what they've done is they have done a case continued for case management conference. And the judge has allowed that. And they have scheduled this for 4/25/2020. 2022. At 10 o'clock a.m. Not 2020. In front of Judge James N. O'Hara. Alright. So 4/25/2022. And I said this in the beginning. And there's a lot of people that still, for whatever reason, do not believe in the COVID-19 closures. Don't even believe in COVID-19. That's your choice. That is your right to feel the way you feel. However, I know better. So, this case is set for April. I knew this was going to happen because once you start postponing cases and delaying cases and they're on a timeline, that just causes everything to just stall out. Because you have to think about how big the Cook County Clerk's Office is as far as district court, circuit court, family court, chancery court. So once you start backing up stuff, it's just going to start coming to a complete stop. So, I knew this was going to happen and that this case was going to get postponed and pushed back. And I'm going to show you that as well as what a case continued for case management conference is. So let's take a look at that. This is an article from CBS Chicago, and it's dated June the 30th, 2020. It says, civil court cases in Cook County come to a dead halt. There's a sense of panic. Alright. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought almost all Cook County court cases to a dead stop for months, although many are set to resume again next week. However, hundreds of civil cases aren't scheduled for a court date for almost a year, and some attorneys say that it's totally unacceptable. They say that it could have been avoided. Quote, I wouldn't say slow motion, I would say no motion. End quote. Personal injury attorney Mark Horwitz said of his client's cases. That, he says, is a problem. Quote, there's a sense of panic because every case is someone who has been injured who is waiting for their case to get to trial. End quote. Horwitz told CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kozlov. Horwitz and dozens of other attorneys whose cases are filed primarily in the Cook County Court's Law and Municipal Divisions got notices this past week that their next hearing dates are in February, March, and even April of 2021. What will this do to the case backlog? Quote, "It's just going to stuff it up again," end quote, said Horwitz. Horwitz says it impacts more than 100 of his cases alone. He blames the lack of Wi-Fi within the Daly Center and video conferencing incapabilities in the system. These are problems that still exist almost 4 months into a pandemic that forced much of the world to up its technological game. He faults Cook County Chief Judge Tim Evans and Cook County Board President Terry Preckwinkle for not doing more. Quote, Evans, needs to get his budget from the president of the Cook County Board, said Horwitz. Where is she? Why hasn't she allotted money to get this building up to technological code like other courthouses have, end quote. The delayed hearing notices came despite an announcement from Evans last week that many court proceedings would resume after July the 6th. But Horwitz said there are cumbersome caveats in the judge's order, making many hearings unlikely. It means some Cook County judges, who make an average of $187,000 a year, are doing little work. Horwitz claims the big winners are the insurance companies. Quote, they are coming up with horrific offers and taking advantage of people who are being affected by COVID, who have lost their jobs and who can't work, end quote, he said. Kozlov spent the last 2 days reaching out to Chief Judge Evans' office and County Board President Preckwinkle's office. As to other counties, Horwitz said some are doing a better job at keeping civil cases moving along. He pointed to Kane and Lake counties as good examples, meaning their technology allows hearings to proceed in a reasonable amount of time. Kozlov reached out to the clerks of both counties to ask what specifically they have done to keep cases moving along, but had not heard back as of Tuesday evening. In a statement to CBS 2, however, Cook County Judge Kathy Flanagan, who presides over the law division of the Cook County Civil Court system, acknowledged the pandemic has had a major impact on court operations, but said, quote, I cannot sit by and let the tremendous work of the motions section during this time go unheralded, or the reputation of the judges and their law clerks be unfairly and falsely criticized in any fashion, end quote. Quote, in nearly 32 years as a Cook County Circuit Court judge, I have never seen a group of judges work harder, longer, with more dedication to their jobs, working under the same condition as the attorneys, out of their offices, home, with at-home children, etc. It has been a wonder to observe and a privilege to work with them, end quote, she wrote. So, it's not going over well in Cook County that these cases are on the back burner. And it is really problematic for the people that really need the money, cases that were close to settlement. They're being taken advantage of because they need the money and they're probably going to accept any offer that is thrown at them at this point. And that's completely unfair. Where if the pandemic hadn't set in, they could have held out and gotten what they deserve in their cases. So, totally understand that. Now, I went to PLEA, which is Legal Information for Everyone. It's plea.org, so that they could explain to you what case management conference is. I could do it, but they can do it so much better than I can. A case management conference is required before a date will be set for trial unless a judge decides it would not be helpful to have one. The date may be set when you attend court for a first appearance, or the court date in the summons could be for a CMC, case management conference. A judge can decide not to have the CMC if the defendant has not served and filed a reply and paid the filing fee. Well, we know we've done all that, and we know we are way past the first appearance. And you're going to see these CMCs, or case management conferences, throughout the trial, or throughout the case. Because it's sort of like a snapshot of your case. In front of the judge, they kind of just want to know what's going on, as quickly as they can possibly give it to them. They just want to know that that case is moving along. All right. The purpose of the CMC is to try to settle some or all of the issues. In some cases, this may mean that a trial is not necessary. In other cases, it may mean that the trial will be shorter and simpler. If all the issues cannot be settled at the CMC and a trial is necessary, the CMC will be used to prepare for the trial. So, what they hope to do in the meantime, between these CMCs, is work out some of the kinks so that this trial, if they should go to trial, doesn't last forever and a day, which further ties up the court's time, ties up everyone else's time. If there are witnesses or juries, ties up all of their time. So what they hope to do is just talk amongst them, the attorneys, to try to work out some of the kinks and then bring it to the judge for the judge to settle and move on. So usually at these CMCs you might see brief snapshot, or if there's a problem that they're having that they need kind of a decision on, they'll take that to the judge then. So, it just goes through. During the meeting, the judge may give the parties input concerning their case, including the judge's assessment of the strength or weaknesses of each party's evidence, opinion of the law that might apply, suggestions for a possible resolution. At the CMC, both parties tell the judge about their case, and the judge talks to them about their case, the law that applies, and possible solutions. Sometimes the judge will meet with each party separately. The procedure for a CMC can vary from case to case. You will be encouraged to discuss the issues in an open but courteous manner. Direct your remarks to the judge rather than the other party. A CMC may be continued to another date if one or both parties come unprepared, or if the judge decides that further discussions or actions may assist in possible settlement. It can also be continued if more discussions are needed before the parties are ready for trial. So I just wanted to come to you guys with this update and kind of explain what it is, and then also address the lack of movement in the Cook County court system. And I knew this was going to happen, and it was a disaster from jump. I knew it was going to cause a major clog in the dockets. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them in the comments. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys a little later.